What's going on, guys? We are live, starting in just a few minutes. You know what to do. Leave a comment. Make sure you vote on the poll, or you're going to be entered to win for absolutely free at our next drawing. We have a drawing today. Last week was Zamora. Let's see if you will be entered to win. Three minutes, people. 3 minutes. I got a watch list for you. We're going to sector watch. We definitely have to keep an eye on those sectors. What's hot, what's not, what is to come. And I'll let you know. Am I risk on or am I risk off? You vote on the poll right now. Vote on the poll while you're waiting. A lot of people start losing interest in the market when we have pullbacks like this, but I can tell you for absolute certain, now's the time to watch. Now's a time to keep an eye on what is staying strong while the overall market pulls back. We'll go over all of that very soon. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hit that like button for me. The meatloaf. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting in less than 1 minute. I hope you're ready, because I am ready for you. Mic check 2, 3. All right, and it is time. We have another beautiful stock market watch list meeting. We're going to go through the overall stock market very briefly. It's very quick, but we need to know where we're at in the overall market. We're going to go through the sectors. We need to know where the money is going, because it's got to flow somewhere. These hedgies can't stay in all cash, and if they are, they can't do it for too long. And then, of course, I'll give you my watch list, the stocks that I think are still setting up. So if we do have a brilliant turnaround in this time, we will know what stocks to watch. So stay tuned, because the first thing that we're going to do is start with our raffle. Remember, all you got to do is comment. If you comment, you'll be entered to win in next week. So last week's, we are doing the drawing very soon, so make sure you stick with us. We'll see you in just a second. All right. I know you guys want it right here, right now. We're going to give it just a few more minutes. We already got 10 of you in here. What's going on? Wooden Bell is here, says hello, everyone. Yosef, staying in up late just to hang out. What is going on? Good to see you. Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive, has blessed us with his presence tonight. Of course, sweet Jolene is with us. It is a good day, Jolene. It is good to see you. Jimmy Bright, what's going on? And the beefiest, the stewiest, the beef stew, baby. It's good to see everybody. I'm so happy to be here. You know, I got to say, even when the overall market has a pullback, even when we have a pullback like this, and we break that 21-day moving average, to me, it's almost like a day off, right? You can take a big, deep breath of that beautiful, crisp, fresh air and say, I ain't got to do nothing. I don't have to take any trades. I don't have to worry about managing any trades. I can just relax now, get a refresher, and then see what stocks start to set up. But no, that is very far from true, isn't it, Norman Conklin? It is very, very far from true. Why? Because now is the time to stay focused. Now's the time to understand what our leaders are doing and if they are still leaders, okay? If the stocks that are setting up, that are showing strength against the pullback that the market is happening, pulling all the way back down to the 50-day moving average, if it's still holding up strong, those are still showing proof that they are leaders, okay? So, sorry about the shitty camera, guys. I had my camera went out, so I got to do some camera switching. Didn't have time to do it, so you're on this piece of junk today. Beard's getting lovely. But anyway, long story short, we are going to have ourselves a good old time, but we are going to start off with this raffle, okay? Last week, Zamora was in here with us, and Zamora won a little gift package right here. We got another one coming up, a 12-ounce stainless steel mug from Poet, and a t-shirt, which a couple weeks ago I showed off for you guys. A little tight on me, but I hope it fits some of you. We have Andre Waite, B. Stewie, Matt Amaya, Stockalope, The Kinnish, Wooden Bell, Yosef, Erica K, and Jimmy Bright all entered to win on this Wheel of Fortune. I hope one of you guys, I hope one of the OGs wins it. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope one of the OGs wins it. But if it's one of you guys who are new, you'll get at least a week to claim your prize. So if you're watching this at a later time, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. And if you want the free trading school that we give you, just go to my YouTube, okay? Go to that trading school. Watch all those videos. Helps me out tremendously if you leave a like. And here we go. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for me to spin this? I hope you guys are ready. I am pumped. Let me shoot you some love. Sending some love right back. Here we go. We're going to start this thing off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it! Who's it going to land on? Oh, come on. Oh, I thought it was going to get B. Stewie. It looks like Matt Amaya. Matt Amaya, congratulations. I definitely hope that you are with us. Matt, if you would get a hold of us, you just come to our Discord, and we will have Dan the Greatest Moderator Live, reach out to you. You do have 1 week to get your prize. If not, the prize goes back in the bin, and we will be doing another free raffle giveaway next week. So if you missed us, all you have to do is comment today during this live show. And if you comment, then you have a chance to win. So we already have Erica K in the building, Norman, Jolene, Dan, Bob, Wooden, B. Stewie, Jimmy Bright. And we ain't going to miss anybody because Dan Bob takes all these names down. So thank you guys so much for sticking around, chatting it up. And congratulations, Matt Amaya, for that win. All right, let me get a little sip Shawanwa. This one's for me, not for you. Sometimes you got to wet the whistle. And the whistle is now wetted, sir. So let's start with the S&P 500, shall we? When we look at the S&P 500, what is the very first thing that comes across my mind when I say, hey, the S&P 500, the 21-day moving average. When I take a little peeky gander at the overall S&P 500, showing me whether or not the overall market in general, how is it doing? Well, it's doing good. It's above its 200-day. It's doing well. It's above its 50, but it has broken its momentum. This beautiful run after we became risk on, it held the 21-day moving average for a beautiful total of 4.45%. That might not sound like much, but we're talking about the overall market in general. That's a beautiful number to go from risk on to risk off and see your account rise 4.5%, okay? Now that we are risk off, we are going to stay risk off, and we're going to see if this area holds. What is this? This big gray area that I drew? It's the biggest area of support. This is where the biggest area of support is. This is where there's a lot of demand for prices in this general area. All right? So we can come back down as far as there. I'm going to feel pretty comfortable. Of course, we can come all the way back down to 539. There's possibilities, right? And we could go all the way back down to 0 from here, right? I mean, there's always possibilities out there. I'm not here to act like I am some type of mathematician or some type of genius that knows what's going to happen. The only thing I can do is predict. I can have, or I'm sorry, not prediction. I can react to certain scenarios. So let's come up with a few scenarios, and that is we're below a 21-day moving average. I'm risk off. Once we get above the 21, then I can start taking trades again. And this has saved me a lot of money in my long-term account and in my swing trading account. So what are we going to do about this? Well, we're just going to sit back, relax, and wait for the S&P 500 to start to get its shit together. So in the meantime, what am I going to do? I'm going to see where the money's flowing. The last time we checked before this huge rally, we seen money was flowing into utilities. That was a very clear scenario. What's utilities doing today? It looks like utilities is actually starting to have a pullback. Now, is this scary? Well, if you're long in a utilities, you have broken your momentum. You have broken your 10 and 21-day moving averages. So that has had a pullback. So let's start from the top here and let's work our way back. So Bitcoin, we know, came back close to those recent all-time highs. XLB, which is, we're going to skip that one, sorry. Here's technology. Technology's having a pullback below its 50-day moving average. XLE, that is your energy, is below a 50. It's actually below a 200-day moving average. XOP was these gas and exploration. Stay out of it. Now, communication services right now, as of right now, communication services is just absolutely kicking ass. So this is like, you know, I wonder how ASTS is doing. Let's take a little peeky gander. Yeah, that's just kind of trading sideways. What was the other very popular one? Broadcom, but it's called AVGO. So that's still doing pretty well. So it looks like communication stocks are doing well. Probably Verizon. A lot of those are doing well. But this is acting like a sector should. So if you can find some fast movers in this sector, definitely keep an eye on that. Between that and utilities, it's hard to find, but utilities looks like it's losing some of that momentum. Now, what about consumer staples? Consumer staples is also pulling back a little bit, which is very interesting to see because the overall fears for that recession, when it starts to come in, you would imagine that the consumer staples would start to head back up. As this starts to pull back, thank you for that subscription, I appreciate you. But as we start to pull back here, you'll start to realize that the fear, the demand, and the recession fears in this specific consumer staples chart isn't showing those recessionary fears in here, okay? So we'll just go ahead and note the fact that consumer staples had a major pullback. We're below a declining 50-day moving average. Now, XLV, which is healthcare, surprisingly low, all the way back down to this 200-day moving average. Okay, you can see this is the area of support. Why do I say that? Well, if I can find my little box doohickey, you would think I would know exactly where this is. You know, here we go. So when I look at this, the key areas I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish areas. So if I just draw like a box in this area, we'll say right there. This is a huge area of support. There's a lot of demand for prices in this area, right? And we can even look back here a little bit further, and you can see this was this last area of demand in this area right here. And you can see after it finally broke through that, it came back down and it retested it, started to make new higher lows, and is now broken out, and it's came back down and is retested. Is this going to do the same thing as it did previous? There's possibility, but that is the healthcare sector. So when I look at this, I look at the healthcare sector and I ask myself, is it due for a pullback? Sure. Huge push up here, nice pullback. Is it going to hold the 200-day moving average? If it wants to start showing fruition, if it wants to start showing trades, then it will. In the meantime, we're going to sit on our hands. Industrial is having a pullback, but it's still below or close to its 50. XLY, so this is very interesting. This is consumer discretionary. Okay, these aren't your things, your typical things that are necessities that we absolutely have to have. These are cars and designer clothes and shit we don't need, right? So it's very interesting to see discretionary this high as well. So that's not implying recessionary fears either. Then, of course, we have biotech, which I find is interesting because I found that healthcare moves with biotech for the longest time, but now it looks like biotech looks like it's starting to coil up here. Now, keep in mind that on the daily time frame, we're still sitting below a lot of those moving averages and riding the 200-day moving average, but it's very interesting to see this thing coil with new higher lows and a basing top at that 103. So if biotechs want to start rip, tater, chipping to the north side, I do believe this would be a keen area for it to happen, within the next week or so. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. No trades are being made. Of course, we have retail, which has just been trading sideways. This is almost looking like biotech, where biotech's just kind of trading sideways, not doing shit. Same thing with this retail, just trading sideways, not doing much of anything, okay? Then, of course, we have XLF. So here's the financial institution. And look at this big flag up here. It's still holding that 21-day moving average. That's absolutely beautiful. That's what we want to see in a leader. So right now, there's two main standouts in leaders, and that's in the financial sector, and that is also going to be in the communication sector. Okay, so that right now is kind of where we want to look. What is moving the fastest in the financial sector? Can we make monies in those areas? Okay, what is moving fast in the communication sectors? Are anything setting up? If the market starts to turn around, these might be the sectors that continue to prevail. Okay, so let's keep in mind communication and the financial sectors. And then, of course, we have the real estate sector here, and it's had a huge pullback. And I actually have a question. So if anybody has the answer to this, let me know either on air or off air. But I wonder how much this actually correlates with the pricing of housing. I really do wonder, because if we read, exactly what this is, maybe I won't get too far into this. Let's stay focused. But I am curious, like the dollar ratio, like, if this goes up, how much is correlated with the dollar ratio of in buying a house? I think that would be very interesting to know, to see and help understand that. Then, of course, we have tech software. I like to follow these softwares, and this is looking very strong as well, holding the 10 and 21-day moving averages as the 50 and the 200 are curling to the north side. So when I look at something like this, with IGV, this tech software, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So we have tech software, guys, communications, and financials. Those are our main sectors that we need to keep a very close eye on, okay? All right, next up, I'm going to show you what I have on my watch list, but just a few things that you guys need to keep in mind for this week. Okay, what's the biggest thing? Tuesday, the presidential election. This comes with inherent risk. Things are going to be more volatile. Okay, I don't think it really matters so much, on what you're doing and where you're going. Just keep your stops a little bit wider if you are risk on. I'm not currently, because we're below a 21-day moving average. But with this presidential election, you're going to see a lot of volatility, and people love to play that volatility too, which makes things even more volatile. So just watch your ass on that. And then of course, a lot of people on Thursday are going to be watching this initial jobless claims, because the last piece of data that came in that talked about jobs data was severely low, and I think we all kind of agreed with each other that it was more based on the hurricane taking a lot of that out. So we want to keep an eye on that to ensure that America's is starting to go back to work in those areas and things are a-okay with the overall shape of the job labor market, because we want to ensure that the job labor market isn't completely and utterly destroyed, or that's going to really, really spook not just the market, but the overall economy. Okay. And another thing I wanted to bring up was earnings. Dan Bob was bringing this up. We were talking backstage before we went on here. And, one thing that we really need to start focusing more on the show is earnings seasons, because a lot of us like to play EPs, episodic pivots. Now, any of these, you don't have to watch every one of these, and I can give you and show you if you're a part of our Discord, which, of course, if you want to join, just hit that link tree. It's either in our chat, or the best thing to do is to click my link tree in the section down below. Click the More button, click the link tree, click the Discord. All you need is an open mind and a heart of gold, and you can join us for absolutely free. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. But right here is the most anticipated earnings releases for November 4th. Okay, this is for the week of this week coming up. We have a ton. Palantir on Monday after hours. We have Franklin Templeton before opening, Illumina after hours, Goodyear, Biotech, Freshpet. Tuesday's interesting. We have Super Micro, which if you guys didn't hear the latest news, we also have Coupang. Some people have been watching Coupang for a while. Microchip. Does that say iRobot? Interesting. LPGFS, Lamborghini, Apollo. Of course, Wednesday we have ARM, AMC, ELF, IONQ. That's a good one. Thursday, a couple that pop out are like Rivian, DraftKings, Affirm, Hershey's. You guys get the idea. Look at the screen. I mean, there's a ton of earnings, and this could definitely change the way the overall market trends, just simply due to a lot of these bigger boats coming out and showing that they're very profitable. Okay. And of course, just before I give you my watch list, there's one last thing I want to bring up, and that is this amazing Facebook page. And you guys are more than welcome to come here. We have an awesome Facebook page. We have awesome moderators doing this Facebook page. We already are up to 270 members. This wasn't opened up too long ago, and we would have thousands of members already, but we keep such a close lock in on this. So if you guys are interested in a safe Facebook page where you're not going to get a bunch of spammers and stuff, Dan Bob and Jolene have been doing an amazing job at keeping all the crap out and keeping this very professional. I mean, look at this, IBD Secrets of Success. If you go on here once a day, you're going to get 3 pieces of information out of this that are just going to make you a better trader. Here we are right now. Look at this. This is showing you the sector tracker, the sector tracker, AI spending boost. Right here's our watch list that we give out for free. I mean, guys, there's motivation on here. There's insights. There's, when Dan Bob first started this Facebook site, I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, yeah, it'll reach more people. But he's really accomplished something great with this. There's so many amazing things on here. I know I'm just skimming the surface by looking at the first few posts here, but it's really amazing. And if you're not part of this Facebook, go to Swing Trader Strategy on Facebook and join us on there. We'll see you there. All right, guys, back to the show. I'm going to give you guys what I have. And, of course, if you're here for the raffle, all you have to do is leave a comment right now while we are live. And if you leave a comment, you'll be entered to win for next week. Next week, we'll be doing the same raffle, but we already did our raffle for this one. So, yes, Dan Bob is amazing. Jolene, I could not agree more. All right, let's go over my November watch list. Here is SRRK. I've been keeping an eye on this for quite some time. I didn't really care to see it break its 10-day moving average, but we're just waiting for this thing to set up. I'm just kind of waiting and seeing where this lies. Maybe it gets tight. It finally contracts enough and then gives us a proper risk reward to break out higher. But again, I am risk off, but these are the names I still want to watch to keep an eye on, because if the overall market starts to turn around, these are going to be the ones that I'm going to be wanting to reach and grab a few shares before it gets to be too late. We also have TVTX. This is a base breakout around 19. I have LX. You can tell that this looks kind of like a Chinese stock, and that's kind of my theme recently. I have about three or four Chinese stocks on here. I will play a Chinese stock. How long I'll hold it is really to be determined. But I really like this one here, and I don't even know if it's Chinese stock, guys. I'm just kind of talking here. But I like this contraction pattern. I like this contraction pattern on the volume. So if you can go ahead and start to briggity break out to the north side, I wouldn't mind taking a few shares myself. One thing I wanted to point out here for Lemonade, I know a lot of people on here, we all look at the same things. I like to bring up some ideas, just ideas, guys. These aren't trades. But if we look at the overall idea of this Lemonade stock that moves 5.7%, this is my short idea, okay? This is not a buy or sell recommendation. This is an idea that I'm kind of coming up with. But look how many times that this area has shown to be an area of resistance. We can count them, but you can see there's been multiple areas. And now it just broke above all of that area and then had a huge wick down. This would show you proper risk reward if you use this all-time high at $26 and got in here at 24, risking $2. You could risk that and play this all the way back down to support, which is back down here to $18. So that's, 26%, and you would be risking 6%. So, 4 or 5R on that particular play, I think would be, just an idea. And so I'm going to have it marked out here. This isn't a play that I'm actually going to take. It is something that I'm just going to keep playing with and start counting how many resistance areas. And once we have enough buckles, then we'll go ahead and tighten our belt. What's going on, Robert? What's going on? It's good to see you, brother. It's good to see the crew in here. We also have JANX, again, still being risk off. I like these beautiful cups with a handle holding a 10-day moving average. If it breaks out of this $56 area and heads higher on volume, I want to be notified. Keep a close eye on that. We got a few more for you guys. Keep a close eye on. And remember, these are all faster movers, guys. We're trying to get rich here. We're not trying to make pennies, right? Well, first and foremost, we're trying to learn, right? We're trying to learn what is the best way to trade, what's the best way to implement these strategies, to find a process, to understand risk management, yada, yada, yada. You guys all heard me say this shit one too many times. But, long story short, we have to focus on these. We have to understand what's going on in the overall market so we know when to take these trades. We also have GDS. Now, this is beautiful. This is looking really, really tight. I just don't like the fact that it broke its 21-day moving average. So now it's looking what I like to call a big drip, where things are nice, tight, things look very conformed. They, you kind of can understand them, I guess, right? So you can look at something like this, you go, okay, that's nice and tight. You can look at this, you can say, okay, well, it's following that 21-day moving average. And then you see this, and it looks like it's starting to break down. This broke that previous lower high. This closed at closer to its lows. It looks like, another small pop, and this thing might actually fall down too. But either way, this is a break. Whether it's going to head to the north side or the south side, I don't know, but it's another beautiful idea that you could use for proper risk management. Just ideas here, guys. Now, these are some of the Chinese stocks, okay? I brought up these Chinese stocks because they are inherent risk, just like biotech. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if their dictatorship's going to come out and say, look, JD.com, you're done. You're making too much money and we're going to completely ruin you, Baba, then Futu, same thing. We get this huge move up, a pullback. Here's a nice contraction pattern. Is this going to break out to the north side? I think so. I think it might. But do I have any money on it? No, not yet. I'm not seeing new higher lows, one more new higher low. And we might have ourselves a play here, guys. So I'm keeping an eye on the Chinese stocks, but I'm not ready to pounce, COMM, Comscope is another one I'm keeping an eye on. We talked about this being a trend break right here. It kind of broke down and then it curved back up, formed a base right here. You could have played this base. That would have been just fine. Risking previous low, you'd still be in this stock, but it's just kind of lingering around. Keeping an eye on it, no play for me. BW is another one. Nice push higher on volume, pulling back, trying to get tight in this range here. We have ATAT, also kind of looking like a big drip. Looks like this thing wants to just kind of fail here. Just keeping an eye on it, seeing what happens. But my number one watch list for today is this APLT. So I've been keeping a very close eye on this. I like the way it's holding this 21-day moving average, forming a base here at this 927. Definitely going to keep a close eye on this. I like the way this is setting up. So definitely on my watch list. It should be on yours at least to watch it, even if you are risk on right now. And actually, speaking of risk on, risk off, I asked you guys to vote on this poll here. We have 23% saying you are risk on, 54% say no, you're risk off, and 23% say you're working on new strategies. Either way, that's all okay as long as you guys do understand risk management. And if you don't, watch some of my previous videos or hang out with us because I preach it. Because you cannot survive to trade another day if you blow all your capital in one trade. So be very, very careful. We're going to end that poll now. It's nice to see that a lot of you are risk off. It shows that we're kind of on the same page. When the S&P 500 breaks that 21-day moving average, it kind of falls there. One thing I want to touch on, guys, too, one thing I don't bring up a lot, and I'm kind of saying this to myself, is balance. Now, I know a lot of my viewers, a lot of you guys out there, my demographic is more older people. We're catering to more of the 45, 50-year-olds and up. Now, we, of course, commemorate any of the younger generation coming in here, and there are some of them that as they come and go, they're getting into it, and we commemorate them. But us being, the older folk that we are, it's nice to see that we're all kind of trading quite similar in similar ways. So it's definitely nice, definitely nice to see there. I didn't really realize where I was going with that one, actually. So we'll just carry on. But anyway, guys, the S&P 500 is looking golden here. If it can hold this 50-day moving average, maybe it starts to curl around here. Maybe it kind of chills out after the election, finds new higher lows, and then breaks out higher. But we'll see very, very soon what's going to happen. But a couple of honorable mentions from last week, like drug. This is definitely one that I want to keep an eye on. Now, guys, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, and I want to preface this now, is if you're going to watch a stock like this, just know you shouldn't play this. If you've never seen something like this, you need to be extremely careful. This is one of those literally black swans, those make or break your accounts, okay? All I'm saying here, guys, is I'm seeing a trend break here. It's holding a 10-day moving average and it's starting to get really tight on lack of volume. When I see that, it makes me very, very excited for the overall stock. But we also need to be very, very careful because these could be fake breakouts as well. So if this breaks out to the north side, we need to be very careful of those fake breakouts. But drug moves 103% on an average daily range. If you don't understand what that means, if you put, let's say, $1, which you can't. So let's just say it's at $48. In one day, that could move. It could double. You literally can double your money. Okay, in a day, literally, you could double your money in one day. You have that opportunity with the average daily range on this, or you could literally lose all of your money in one day. So let me give you the other side of that. Okay, so be very, very careful with this, but I definitely like looking at these because these will literally change your life if you learn how to play these. And this is showing a beautiful trend break strategy where we have a huge push up on volume, a pullback. And guys, I'm going to be very honest, this is looking like a 5-star setup. If drug actually pops up here, I'm going to have to take a risk using previous low of day on this. This has nothing to do with the overall market's trend because this is a very, very small cap. These move and do whatever they want. So if you're looking at small caps and you're playing small caps, you can be risk on for small caps because small caps don't give a shit what the overall market's doing. Okay, the overall market could be failing and drug could just continue to go up another 1,000%. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on drug. If I do take a trade on this, it's going to be very small, guys, because I don't have a proven strategy on this. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I have a proven strategy on the trend breakout, but my trend breakout strategy is based on large and mega caps. This is a small cap. I almost can guarantee it. Let's take a look. 215 million. It's got 215 million shares. Yeah, small cap, small mid cap. All right, so this thing can move. This thing can definitely move. I assumed it was going to be much, much smaller, like 5 or 10,000 or 5 or 10 million. But yeah, 215 million. Regardless, I still don't really believe it. Let's actually see here. Free float. Okay, so that makes more sense. See there, it's actually 2.75 million in their free float. So there's only 2.75 million shares actually being traded out there for the open trade. So that's why that thing is moving so fast. Because if anybody with $2.5 million can buy the free float up. All right, so that's nuts. That's nuts to actually see that moving. So, but yeah, so that's all I got, guys. Be safe out there, especially with the election coming up. There's going to be a lot more volatility. The stocks that I mentioned today, these aren't buy or sell recommendations. Like I said, guys, I am risk off for my strategy. The only thing that would change that is like a small cap or a short. But if I did anything like that, it would have to be in like very, very small share size. And I'd have to date and record everything so that way I can start building up criteria so that way I understand what's going on. Erica K says 80% of the stocks on the list have earnings this week. Difficult to chart. Do you wait until after earnings? Erica, thank you so much for asking that question. This is earnings seasons, guys, and I always say this, earnings is a gamble. It does not matter. You have no idea what's going to happen. If you say, no, Costco will continue to get good earnings, that doesn't mean that it isn't already priced in. You have to wait till after earnings to take a trade. Okay, you can say, oh, no, I don't. I could take a trade right now. I'll take a trade tomorrow. You can do whatever the hell you want. But I will not respectfully say that you have a reason for trading that. I would say you have a reason for gambling on that, but you can't give me 3 great reasons why you should play the earnings, because even if earnings are good, the stock could be overpriced and they sell on that news. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. So that's a great question, Erica, because yeah, it is difficult to chart. You don't know what's going to happen. You can't have proper risk reward because it's too volatile. It's too volatile. So the only time I play earnings is when I'm up, let's say 5-10R, and I've already sold off 3/4 of my position, and I hold on to 1/4 of that position. And I did that with Hood and gave back most of all of my money that I made on Hood by saving that last quarter. That's how bad, like, let's look at Hood. I played earnings on that, and I never play earnings, guys, but of course I play earnings, so watch the hell out. But I made money from this base breakout here, and we played it all the way up to here, sold out somewhere here, played this base breakout here, made a bunch of money, sold 3/4 of it, and then I held on to that last quarter, and it just took an absolute colonoscopy. Erica K said, not playing earnings, but wondering how many days prior to get out generally. That's a great question. So if I'm trying to stick to my strategy the best that I can, I'm going to get out before earnings. What I mean by that is just before they have it. So you can take it out that day. Like, let's say you're watching it that day and you know earnings is in the after hours and they get this huge rush of volume. Take your profits, take your profits. If it hit new all-time highs for the day, take some profits, You could take a couple here, a couple there, depending, but you know that you want to be out by the end of the day. So try and do it strategically. If you're going to act like, it's some kind of day trade, take it out as it hits new highs, try to do it as a strategic trader. But in a swing trade, yes, I want to get out before earnings actually happens. I don't say 3 days or 4 days before earnings. I just try to take it out. I try to wait as long as I can and not let it interrupt my day when I have to take them. I don't want to be hopping on right before the market closes like, oh, I got to sell these. You don't want to do that to yourself. Don't stress yourself out. But yeah, I agree, Dan Bob. Great questions, Erica. Thank you very much. We need more questions like that, Erica. All right. So yeah, don't play earnings. Earnings is a gamble. You can play earnings, but I'm not going to respectfully say that you have a proven strategy. If you do, let's go over it. Teach me. I want to learn it because, anytime somebody says, oh, I play an earnings strategy, I don't know. I just don't believe you, and if somebody has an earnings strategy that they can lay the foundation and make it simple to follow, I would love to learn it. But if it's complicated, I don't want anything. I don't want any part of it. Let's keep trading simple. So guys, that's all I got. If you want to use TradingView, go ahead, click on the more description. You use my link. Give me a little kickback. Give me a little money. That's all I ask for doing all of this for absolutely free, even though most of this is for me. I absolutely love showing up here. I love that you guys keep showing up to learn more, and I love seeing the new faces. Everybody that commented today, you will be entered to win in next week's raffle. Matamaya and Zamora so far are our two winners, so congratulations to the two of you. And everybody in here, we'll see you guys next week, and stay tuned. I absolutely love you guys, and happy hunting. I'm Risk Off, but that doesn't mean we can't keep a very close eye on what's going on in the market. The hot sectors are communication, financial. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace. Jimmy Bright, good night. Take care, brother. B. Stewie, you're welcome. Zamora, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Erica K, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Wooden, I hope you are learning a ton, brother. And I appreciate all the comments. When you leave comments on all the YouTube channels or all the videos, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Yosef, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Robert, it's good to see you, brother. Dan, Bob, Dan, you get nothing but love from me, brother. I hope you have a good night too, Erica. Yeah, Dan, Bob, you really are. Like, I don't know how the hell you're doing it, but Jolene, thank you so much for being here. The beefiest of stew. Norman Conklin, thank you so much for swinging in, brother. You are awesome, good sir. And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I do apologize. I'm trying my best here. Yeah, I think I got everybody. All right, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome one. Stay frosty.